The New York Knicks just ended a rough February where they lost 8 out of the 12 games they played, but now they head into March with some optimism as they hope they can get healthier sooner rather than later. At least Knicks fans are hoping that. They also start off the new month with a road test against the Cavaliers, so let's talk some Knicks hoops. We're going to do it with the dean of Knicks Film School. My guy, Jonathan Mack, rejoins us now. J. Mack, what is going on?
What's going on is it's March, which means I'm happy because that means it's not February anymore, and I'm happy to put that month behind us as someone who covers this Knicks team here.
Well, look, I like it. Positive vibes, right? Not a good month last month. January was a great month for the Knicks fans. I think Knicks fans are hoping that March can be good and not have too much madness in the wrong way for them. Now, J-Mac, we know that the Knicks were banged up all last month, and the team hasn't looked like it did in the first month of the year. What are the vibes around this team in your eyes, and are you worried about the way this team has played, particularly since the trade deadline? Is that a concern for you?
I think the vibes in the locker room are okay, and I'm just taking what Josh Hart said after the last game at his word, where he was like, "Look, we're going out there, we're giving it our all every single night." And look, I know the Knicks went 4-8 in the month of February, but turn on any game and you'll see a team putting forth just an absolute supreme effort. I thought in particular against Golden State the other night, I thought they really left it out there on the floor. It's just they are limited. And, you know, your question is how worried am I? Again, I'm not worried about the team internally, but at some point you do need to look at the standings and look at the teams that are behind them in not only 5th and 6th, but in 7th and 8th. And all of a sudden now, as those teams are bunched up, the play-in or staying out of the play-in really, I think, becomes a little bit more of the goal than perhaps what they may have been thinking about after that hot month of January.
Yeah, after that hot month of January, J-Mac, a lot of the talk was, can they make the 2 seed? Can they avoid the Celtics until the conference finals? Now we're talking about them staying alive, staying out of the play-in. So a lot can change in a month, as we have seen. Now, Alec Burks, since he came over in this trade, he's really struggled shooting the ball since returning to the Knicks after the trade deadline. How concerned are you about his performance right now?
You know, I mean, it's been less than 10 games, so, you know, I always am leery about going too crazy about anything without at least a 10-game sample size. That said, I mean, I think he's at 31% or so from the field, right around the same from deep. And if you watch his play, and Fred Katz came on my podcast this week and talked about this, when's the last time you saw Alec Burks make a meaningful pass when he's been in the game? He is coming in there, and he's really calling his own number, become a bit of a gunner, which not to say that there's something entirely wrong with that. He's trying to get himself going. He knows this team needs buckets. He's trying to provide that. But he's also kind of the de facto backup point guard in those backup units. So I think he just needs to get more comfortable. At this point, look, he's going to continue to get an opportunity because it's going to be another few weeks at least before they get some of their other guys back. But if he doesn't figure it out and start becoming more of a positive contributor to wins, again, in that next 2 weeks, I mean, I wonder how secure his rotation spot is going to be as we get closer to April.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. You wonder if somebody like Deuce McBride starts getting some more minutes over him at that backup point guard spot. All right, J-Mac, so the team has lost 2 games in a row. They visit the Cavs on Sunday. Knickerbockers are currently 4 games behind the Cavaliers in the standings. How big of a game is this for the Knicks to get this month started off right, and what are the keys to them getting a win on Sunday against the Cavs?
I mean, look, it's maybe a bit far out to say this. Again, the calendar just flipped to March, but every game's a big game right now, Dexter. And I think probably a few weeks ago we were looking at this game against the Cavs, and the season series is tied 1-1, and probably thinking, okay, this might be a game for, you know, like you said, the 2 seed or the 3 seed. At this point, they just need to rack up wins. I mean, the Cavaliers, for anybody who may not have been paying close attention, they are the best team in basketball, or tied with the Celtics for the best record in basketball, I should say, since January 1st. That's a span of now 2 months. Their net rating is right up there with Boston. They have been dominant on both sides of the ball. I mean, I could sit here and try to give you one key or 2 keys. they need to come out and I think probably have one of their best shooting performances that they have had in weeks, because this Cavs, Cavs defense, #1 in the league since January 1st. The only way you're beating them is if you have a hot shooting night from outside. And then they're the 6th best shooting team in terms of effective field goal percentage since January 1st. And the thing that, again, it's kind of been sneaky here. What have the Knicks struggled with the most over these last 2-3 weeks? They've been one of the worst defenses in the league. So, I mean, there are no shortage of challenges as they go into this game on Sunday evening.
Yeah, you're going to have to play some defense. Going to have to, who knew, make some shots. That might help the Knicks as well, too, against the Cavs. Now, last thing, you talked about the fact that they need to get wins. Following the Cavs game, the Knicks, they have a 4-game homestand that wraps up with a baseball series with the Sixers. As the team attempts to get healthier, what are you keeping your eye on with the Knicks over these first 5 games, putting the Cavs game in that one, too, of this month? What are you keeping your eye on?
Can you find a way to get 3 wins? I know I sometimes I bring some hard-hitting analysis. This ain't one of those times, Dex. This is one of those times where it is triage mode for this team. I think the hope has to be, based on the recent reporting, that OG Anunoby will be back at the latest for that West Coast road trip that comes after these next 5 games. Where if you could get OG back, he's such a big piece. He's going to walk into 35 minutes a night, I would imagine, if he's feeling up to it. You have to get to that point in one piece. So you want to say 3 wins out of these next 5 should be the goal. You want to say 2 wins out of these next 5 should be the goal. Something in that one of those 2. Like you can't go 1-4, basically, to make a long story short.
Yeah, going 1-4 would be disastrous. Knicks fans want to see the team get off to a better start this month, 3-2 in those first 5 games. I think a lot of Knicks fans would actually sign up for that, because if not, you know this well, J-Mac, they will be hitting the panic button for sure.
Oh, yes.
We will see that. That is Jonathan Macri, the dean of Knicks Film School, always doing a great job breaking down some Knicks basketball with me. J-Mac, be well. We'll talk soon.
Always a pleasure, Dex. Thanks for having me on.
Anytime.